Hi guys, it's Jess and welcome back to another bookish video. Today I am going to be doing a book haul for you guys. In October I bought a bunch of books, but I just never got round to actually sitting down and showing you guys the books that I bought. So I'm going to do that for you today, and hopefully this video won't be too long. I'll try and keep it as short as possible. But anyway, without further ado, let's just jump straight into the book haul. So I'm going to start with my first purchase for the month of October, and that is by order of the Peaky Blinders. This is the official companion book to the TV series. It basically just gives you a lot of behind the scenes information. It talks about the inspiration behind the show and the real Peaky Blinders and what their life was like in 1920s Birmingham. There's a few written pieces by members of the cast talking about their roles, what it's like to work on the show. There's information about all of the sets, about the costumes, even the soundtrack. I thoroughly enjoyed reading this book, and I'm a massive Peaky Blinders fan, and if you are as well, I definitely recommend going and buying this book. Next on my list are a bunch of books that I picked up from charity shops in my village. If you watched my Spookathon vlog, you probably would have seen these books already, but I'm going to include them again because why the hell not? So the first book that I picked up was The Fear by C.L. Taylor. I've seen a few of this author's books circling around on the internet and in shops, but I just never really felt compelled to pick it up, but I love the cover. It really appeals to me. This book is all about a woman who had ran off with her school teacher when she was a teenager, and we follow her as she is an adult and she discovers that the teacher she had an affair with is now involved with another teenager. I don't really know anything else about it other than that. I haven't looked at any reviews, I haven't looked further into the synopsis. I just want to go into this kind of blindly. I'm not expecting it to be an amazing thriller, but I feel like it'll be something that I would enjoy reading. Next, I bought One Day in December by Josie Silver. This is a contemporary romance set in, you guessed it, the month of December. I don't really like contemporary all of that much, and I don't read a lot of contemporary romance, but it's pretty much Christmas now. It is the end of November and I needed something Christmassy to read for December because I literally had nothing on my shelves that was Christmas related. So I thought, why not give this a go? This book follows a woman called Laurie, and she's on a bus and she sees this mysterious good looking man when she's on the bus, and then she knows instantly that he is the one for her, but she never sees him again. And then a year later, she ends up going to a party and her friend introduces her to this man that she knows, and it turns out to be the man that she saw when she was on the bus, and they develop this lovely romantic relationship. It's all cute and fluffy, I think. I don't know. Yeah, this is another one that I'm going to go into quite blindly, but I think it's going to get me in the mood for Christmas. I don't know. Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard. I read the first book in this series, Red Queen, back in August. Wasn't a huge fan. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. It was just a very cliched, typical YA fantasy for me. This was only 50p, so I thought if I don't like it, then I haven't wasted tons of money on it. So in Red Queen, we followed this girl called Mare, who is a Red, and the Reds are people in the society that kind of live in poverty. You know, they live in the slums, they work for a living, there's nothing really that special about them, And then you have the Silvers, who are these magical elite people. The royal family are all Silvers. They're very well respected, regarded as very special people. And Mare ends up getting thrown into the life of being a Silver. She has to live like one of them, and in the first book she found out a bunch of stuff about herself and about the royal family that she probably wasn't expecting to ever find out. I don't really know what else to say about it without spoiling it for you, but obviously this book follows on from the mess that was the end of the last book. I have to admit it wasn't the greatest of endings for me. I didn't really feel that connected to any of the characters, and nothing was really a shock. But I've heard that the series does get better as each book goes on, so I am hopeful that I will like the second one. I'm hoping that it will focus more on the politics of the world, because I felt like that was just kind of pushed aside in the first one, but we'll see. Like I said, I only spent 50p on it, so if I don't like it, no big loss. The next two books that I picked up were Sharp Objects and Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. I read Gone Girl back when I was in university and I absolutely loved it. It's one of my favourite thrillers, and it's very controversial because there are people that absolutely love it and there are people that equally hate it just as much. And I know people that in both categories, but I'm very, very intrigued to read the rest of her work. This one is all about a detective who is investigating the disappearance of two little girls. It's also about her relationship with her mother and her sister, so I believe it's very much a domestic thriller, but I might be wrong. And then this one is all about a woman who helped convict her brother of a crime when she was young, and then she ends up getting contacted by a group of people who believe that he is actually innocent, and this unravels a whole different can of worms for her. So I'm super excited to read these and get into more of Gillian Flynn's work. And just to satisfy the aesthetic cravings that I had at the time, I bought a copy of Gone Girl. I originally just bought the first two books and kind of ignored this one because I was like, I've already read it, I don't need another copy of it. But I ended up going back the next day and I saw that they still had it, and I bought it because I thought all of the covers are going to look so good together and they're just going to look great on my shelves. Those spines are so cool, I love them. It's so aesthetically pleasing to me. I'm very happy. Okay, so now I'm just going to delve into some of the audiobooks that I also bought. I think I bought these in October. I can't entirely remember, but I know that Audible had a good deal on where every day for a week in October you could buy a book for about £2, £1.99, something like that. The first book that I purchased from that sale was The Girl Before by J.P. Delaney. This is a thriller. I think it's a domestic thriller, and this follows two viewpoints. It follows two women from two different times, and they both lived in the same apartment. So the first woman, she lived in this apartment and something bad happened to her. I think she was murdered. I'm not 100% sure. Then the second woman ends up moving into the apartment a few years after, and she finds out that this woman was murdered, I think, in her apartment or something, and she discovers the truth. Again, it's something that I've not read the synopsis for 100%. I just kind of glazed over it, but it sounds really interesting. Again, don't think it's going to be anything amazing. I looked on Goodreads, it's got a 3.69 star rating, so that's not too bad. Do think it will be enjoyable, but again, we'll have to wait and see. And also, I'm not really sure how I feel about listening to a thriller as an audiobook. That's not an experience I've had yet, so that would be an interesting experiment to play out. So just watch this space. From that sale, I also purchased Not Alone by Craig A. Falconer, and this is a science fiction novel. This is all about first contact with aliens and a conspiracy theory, and this guy actually discovers that the US government has been hiding the fact that they have discovered life elsewhere. I don't know if the aliens came to Earth or if they discovered it like far out in the universe. Again, I haven't read the synopsis properly for this, but it sounds really, really good. The audiobook is 22 hours long, so it's a very, very, very chunky book, I'd imagine. And again, this has a 3.95 star rating on Goodreads. It's one of those that has kind of gone under my radar, but now that I've discovered it, I'm super, super excited to listen to it. And then Stalking Jack the Ripper by Kerri Maniscalco. I bought this book at the start of this month with my free credit that you get on Audible every month, and this is a series that I have seen floating about on BookTube and on Bookstagram quite a lot, and it's definitely a series that I have been very, very eager to get to. This particular book follows a 17-year-old girl called Audrey, and she's quite a wealthy girl. She's a lord's daughter, so she's born into privilege, but beyond all of that, she lives a secret life, and she often sneaks away to her uncle's laboratory to study medicine and practice her skills. Over a period of time, some savagely killed corpses end up coming into the laboratory, and she ends up working on them, and this leads her into a whole other mystery of discovering what happened to them, and it's set in the Victorian times, and it's all surrounding Jack the Ripper, which I love. I don't think I've read anything about Jack the Ripper yet, so I'm very, very interested in that aspect of the story. And yeah, this series I know is very popular. I know that it's done really well. People seem to be loving it, and I definitely think that this is something that I'm going to enjoy as well. Okay, so we've made it to the last book, so thanks for sticking with me if you've got this far. The last book on this list is probably my most anticipated, actually it's without doubt my most anticipated book of this year, particularly this season, I would say, and that is The Toll by Neal Shusterman. I've had this book pre-ordered for so long, and it finally came in the mail a couple of weeks ago, and I'm super, super excited to read this. I might have already read it by the time this video is up. We'll have to wait and see. But this is the third book in the Arc of a Scythe trilogy, and you guys know how much I adore Scythe. It's one of my favourite books of the year. Thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it. And the second book, Thunderhead, was just equally as good. I'm very, very nervous because I know that I have super high expectations for this book. And who can blame me, because the first two were absolutely out of this world. And I don't want it to be bad. I don't know where the story is gonna go. Literally every book has ended on a cliffhanger, and the last cliffhanger was like the cliffhanger to end all cliffhangers. So I don't know how this book is gonna come back from that ending in the second, but I am just so hyped for this, and I just don't want it to be bad. Okay, so thanks for sticking with me. That was my book haul, all of the books that I have bought this autumn. Very, very excited to get to some of these, and I am hoping that I enjoy every single one of them, because I have been in a massive reading slump as of late, and every book that I have read so far since probably Halloween has been an absolute disappointment to me, which is really, really upsetting. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these, what your thoughts and opinions are on them, and whether you would actually recommend them or not. If you liked this video, just click the thumbs up and give it a cheeky like. Please subscribe to my channel and click the bell button if you want to see more from me in the future. And as always, I will see you in another video very soon. Bye guys.